Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ebony Ladies in the DR. I'm Bridget from Houston. Join me in meeting the rest of our co-hosts.
I'm Sheila from Silver Spring.
Shan from Atlanta.
Tammy from South Carolina.
And you can find us right here on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we hope you'll come back again and enjoy the episodes and watch past episodes as well.
Oh, yeah.
So today, our topic is all about not only dating in the DR, but American women and their standards for Dominican men. Are they the same or are they different? So we're going to dive right in. I have a million questions. I'm the only married lady to an American man on the panel. We have an American woman married to a Dominican man. We have a single woman here in the DR. And then, of course, we have Tammy that moved here for love, in love with a Dominican man. So a lot of people always say, you know, they relate it to Stella getting her groove back. They say American women come to the DR looking for the nice looking Dominican man. They're fit. They work on the beach. They work at the resorts, on the boats. So does anybody feel like that there's a large number of the women, especially you, Shan, you can answer this for us, that come down and do with trips by Shan and come down for the retreats? Do you ever hear that, I'm coming to get my groove back, find me a Dominican man?
Well, not necessarily with the trips that I put together. Not necessarily for that. But a part of my business is Airbnb. And I host several different properties here. And what I can say is I've seen the gamut of women coming here to either be with their Dominican man or, ready to mingle. And, see what's going on down here. So, yes, there's definitely a huge influx, and I'm noticing more and more. I'm seeing a lot of black women coming in, and either they have a Dominican man or they met someone and they're coming back to visit him to just see where things could go. But definitely a large part of my business, a large part of my clientele with my Airbnbs would be women who are coming here to spend some time with their Dominican lover.
Okay, and before I get out to Tammy, I want to ask Sheila, because Sheila's single. And so, Sheila, tell me, things are different here, and, I don't know, what your expectations are or what you like in a man, but tell us how Dominican men would fit into your lifestyle as far as what you're looking for, and is there any difference in what you would expect from a Dominican man versus a man in the U.S.? Like we all said, the majority of people here don't have cars, but you loved your car. You love driving your car when you go home. So would you ever seriously date a Dominican man that didn't have a car?
Well, I probably yes, because I don't have a car. It's one thing if I had a car and then I was always going to pick him up and driving him all around and everything every time we were going out on a date or something like that. So I would date a Dominican man that didn't have a car.
If you didn't have a car in the U.S., you would still date an American man that didn't have a car?
Nope.
Okay, so here we are.
Well, because because the difference in the economics.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm not going to be the one that's going to be taxiing and picking you up and driving you all around in my vehicle. I mean, that's just call me old school. I'm just not going to do it.
But that's still adjusting.
Yes.
So we see one case where American women do adjust their standards for Dominican men because it's based on economics and just based on a cultural thing. So I get it.
But I can't judge. The thing with me with a Dominican. Now, if I had a car here, then no, I would not.
You wouldn't date a Dominican man.
But I don't expect something from other people that I don't have.
I get it.
So
that makes sense.
Y'all.
Okay.
I would say when I would come over to visit my boyfriend, even with the standard of living and all that kind of stuff, he always rented a car. Okay. So for me, when he was wooing me, when he was dating me, he dated me in the same way that an American guy would. You know what I mean? So yeah, he did pick me up and take me around and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, because he doesn't own a car. He has a bike, motorbike. So I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. Like if he hadn't when we were going through that process, I don't know.
But still, he still has a mode of transportation to get you around.
Yeah, but I still don't know if he hadn't rented that car. I don't know if I would have kept
coming back because you went to the moto.
Yeah, because it takes time to transition into a Dominican lifestyle because you come in with your American ideals and beliefs. Because even there was a couple times when the car that he rented, I'm like, what is this? Like there's a crack in the windshield, and I'm like, why would you pay for this? And that's like normal here. Like it's fine. Or he showed me the picture that he was of the car he was going to rent, and then when he got there, it was different. And I was like, what happened to the car? And he was like, oh, it wouldn't start, so they had to give me another one. Wow. And so you got to learn that. I had to learn to kind of just
go with it.
Go with the flow.
And would you have done that though in the U.S.?
I would have been a little bit harder on the guy, I think, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe,
see, I think,
to be honest,
I would. I don't. My standards haven't changed necessarily from being in America to being here.
Yeah.
The things that I expect are the essential things. Treat me respectfully.
Yeah.
Protect me. Be a provider. Whatever that means to you guys. Nobody can tell you what being a provider is for you. So those things have never changed. If I was dating someone in the States and they didn't have a car, but they were doing things in other ways, and I felt that this relationship was going somewhere, I didn't mind that he didn't have a car and that I had a car, because he was doing things in other parts of the relationship that were worth it to me.
Okay.
And I feel the same way here. It's certainly a different, like Tammy was just saying, it's certainly a different way of looking at things. You definitely have to step away from that American mindset. I mean, I'm a very independent woman. I've always had my own. I've always kind of been able to pay for myself, so I've never needed anyone to help me. Even when I came here, I had my game plan. I kind of had my finances in order, and for 4 years, I've basically managed myself. But then someone comes into the picture who not only shows you that they're a good person, but they want to take care of you. Not only they want to, but they are taking care of you. Maybe it's not financially. Maybe they don't earn more than you. But there are so many other ways to care for somebody and to take care of somebody. And so I can't look at these materialistic things, because in the 4 years I've been here, I've given up a lot of materialism. So I feel like this conversation that I'm having right now, it's probably different from the conversation I might have had before.
Right.
But that's because I've seen my husband, Davey, who is now my husband, showed me some things that I've never even seen in dating in America.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying I was dating people who didn't have cars in America. I'm just saying this is the best man that I've ever dated in my life.
Right.
And I'm honored to call him a husband, because he's shown me that he deserves that title. And not for materialistic things, because he doesn't have a whole bunch of material things. Just by default, they just don't.
Right.
But he has so much more than that. His spirit is something that keeps me happy every single day when I wake up. His positivity, his optimism, the fact that he is a little bit different than the typical Dominican. I've dated some typical Dominicans.
That's what I was going to say, that we all can agree that he is an exceptional man.
He's an exceptional
Okay.
man.
So what's that's what I want to know.
What's the typical Dominican? Because the first Dominican guy I dated is the one I'm with. So
okay,
what's the typical Dominican?
Do you want to
Well,
go
my experience has been I've just always been a very suspicious person anyway, even back in my younger days. But every time that I've come here, it's like, oh, hi, they want to meet you, and let me have your phone number. And the first thing is, after 2 days, I'm in love. I love you, and all that. So first of all, when you start talking about loving me and you don't know me, that's my first red flag.
Yes, and that's very typical.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know whether that's just a Latino thing or whether that's just a Dominican thing. But as soon as I hear that,
Red
I
flag.
think it's
I'm
a
shut off.
gigolo thing.
Well, see,
You
no,
know what
well,
I mean? I think it's men who, because I mean, really, a 20-year-old and you're 60.
well, I'm not talking about no. I'm not talking about no 20. I'm talking about grown men.
You know what I mean? I think it's a man who sees an opportunity because of, you know, a lot of the men.
Well, that's a whole nother
You know what I mean?
conversation.
That's a whole
Sometimes,
That's
well,
what
here's
I
the thing.
think.
I was the same way and my boyfriend was the same exact way, and I was definitely like, boy, please, you know.
Right.
He was the same way he told you he loved you early on?
Yeah, but he said the moment I walked up to the little booth to get onto the boat that we met on, he said I saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, that's my wife, you know.
So
and again, yeah, it was that kind of thing for him.
So, okay.
Now normally I would be like, but I've also dated American men who said,
that.
oh no, I'm sorry, I know American men who said, yeah, from the moment I met her, I knew
Yeah.
she's the one. So it's hard to. That's the hard part.
Let me tell you the difference.
Yeah, it wasn't
They
typical.
can do that, but there has to be substance behind it.
Right.
So a lot of these
Why?
men will tell you, "Oh my gosh, I'm more of this, I'm more of that," but they're not doing anything to back it up. Their behavior's not consistent. They're not trying to show you how they can care for you, how they can provide for you. It's words. It's just words. Let me see what I can get by putting this out to her.
Right.
Whereas if I can see that happening, yes, they do. We have heard of love at first sight, and if he's showing you something that backs that up, that's different. That's different. Yeah.
So did you get when you first started dating Dominican men? So did you have feedback from your friends at home or your family at home that says, "Oh, you better watch out for him. You are just a paycheck." You know, so because I hear
Wait
that.
till the
You know,
US.
because people are like, even though I'm married and see me with that when
Yeah.
I'm alone, men do like flirt, and everybody's like, "You're just a paycheck to them." So you know, what was that like?
Yeah, so I met my first Dominican boyfriend on vacation here. My first trip here, I met somebody, and we spent a year apart just talking, and then I decided to move to the country, and that relationship continued for at least about another year and a half after I got here. And actually, I attribute a lot of my knowledge and just insight to the country and the culture to him. Not that he was like the best boyfriend, because he was not, but he wasn't the worst either. It was just like any other relationship where it was just two individuals who weren't meant to be together.
Right.
But there was never, outside of the cultural differences. So, you know, I'll say a lot, like the Dominicans, they love to sit out, drink, party, play dominoes.
Right.
He was that. He loved to, that was
you
life.
want to do that all the time.
Come on. I mean, my American mindset, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I'm about to,
do the Bronco.
how we going to buy a house,
Right.
how we about to elevate into the next level of this life.
He was like, we're here.
He might not even,
I'm done. I'm chilling.
how is he going to get his next presidente? You
That's
know,
it.
so we were just
That's
on
beer.
totally different. Presidente is the national beer here. Thank you. And I just couldn't get down like that.
Right.
Nice enough guy, you know, no harm. He didn't do anything that, you know, I wasn't throwing any money his way or anything like that. He introduced me to my Dominican family, who I still very much love.
Right.
But I learned a lot. But I saw the type of person that I didn't want to be with.
Right.
Okay, so I feel like, yes, I came to this country and we were together when I came here. And I thought that might be somebody that God put in my life for a long time thing. But no, obviously that has led me to somewhere else. And I'm happy to say that I found the person that's for me.
Right.
But yeah, he was more when I say the typical Dominican, he was more the, we just gonna play it day by day.
Didn't have a plan.
No
for
plan.
The future.
No plan.
As long as everything is good right now, I'm happy.
I got
My
paid. I got
bills,
some tips
got
today.
some money in my pocket.
I can buy a
everything's
Presidente.
good.
I'm
Right.
good.
I
Yeah.
get it. So tell me, when you first met your boyfriend, so and then what was it that you said? Okay, I gotta move there. This is it. What was that moment like for you?
You know, oh man, it crept on me. I think number one, he was consistent. So yeah, he had all the, oh my God, I love you, like you're so beautiful, you're the woman I want to be with, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? But hey, I kind of like that, so yeah, I'll keep texting back and forth with you. It was just text messages, and then it started to calls, and we started talking every day, and it was just like he just grew on me to the point where it was almost like we're friends. And and I just remember I remember one night praying and I said, God, this guy here there's no way we're gonna be in a relationship or anything. But thank you for allowing this to happen so that I can know now what I want a guy to treat me like. I want a guy, whoever I end up with, God, I want him to treat me the way this guy treats me. Still not thinking we're gonna be together.
I had that conversation.
Yeah, so and it's just like I want a guy to treat me like that. Not him, but and then just as we kept going, and again to the changing your standards, he flew me here. My second trip here. So the first one was my birthday, obviously, where I met him. And the second one, he paid for everything, which was, that's why I said I didn't get what people say, the typical Dominican, he's going to ask you to buy a car for him. He's going to ask him. Nah, he's like a macho, like, he's like,
well, he was sincere, and he wasn't a saint, which will be another
conversation
episode. Yeah. But that was really sweet.
I've never
come across him.
That's what I'm talking about.
Into it. He he was consistent, and I fell in love.
Yeah, because these people.
Well, who wouldn't? Right? Who wouldn't? But I haven't been that fortunate. Everybody that I've met thus far, I have another friend doesn't exactly fall into that category, but the same thing is like, I love you, and it's not all 20-year-olds, they're 30, 40, old men, and I just, then they text you, and there's a picture of them with a woman and a baby.
In the profile photo. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So like, no shame.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So what is it?
No intelligence.
So there's red flag number 2.
Red flag for
sure. Like I said, I haven't been as fortunate as you two have been. And
I do
as
think
far as as far as and a lot of the people that I know, when I told them I was moving here, they were like, what's his name? I don't understand why people think that the men here are slicker than the men, that I have to move for a man, or that they're so slick, that they're slicker than the slicksters in the United States.
They're everywhere.
Universal. And they're all throughout the Caribbean.
Right.
So I would love to be dating here, but since my time here is short term, I don't want to get into a serious relationship because I'm not going to stay here. And I know, like you were speaking on in the other episode, how difficult it can be for people to come, for you to get people from here to the United States. And I just anything that I would do at this point would just be having fun.
Okay, so you single and mingling.
Single.
Well, I ain't been mingling, but I'm single.
I think you do some mingling.
But so I mean,
at my house. I don't get out like that.
To
even
go
meet
out
people.
And go but you meet people on a regular basis. Here, living on the island, when we go from one place to the other, maybe another tourist, but there are men everywhere, ladies.
Yeah, everywhere.
They're everywhere. So you don't have to necessarily be getting dressed up to go out or do anything. Just every day going to the grocery store, just going around the neighborhood. There are very handsome Dominican men here. They're very nice. They will try their English, even though most of the time they're saying bye when they greet you, because I don't know, all the Dominicans know how to say bye. Our security guard, he sees me and he says bye.
They know how to say bye.
We say hello first. But I think people have that conception because a lot of American men come here looking for Dominican women, and I've learned, just from being here and being on the island, that as many Black American women come here looking for Dominican men. You know, whether it's the whole Stella, get their group back thing, or just have fun, or even looking for love. You know,
can I just say though? Let's keep it real. Dominican men are fine.
Yeah.
Like fine.
Yeah.
Like and of all ages. Like
they are fine.
Here.
But I did not come here looking for Dominican men. I did not. No.
We came for vacation. And then what happens happens.
Yeah. And when I decided to move here, even though I had been talking to my first Dominican boyfriend, because I had heard of all these things, so this stuff is in the back of my head the whole time.
Right.
So I said, Shanna, I had literally sat myself down and had a conversation with myself, and I said, Shanna, it is likely that your relationship is not going to work out because, again, I'm listening to these naysayers.
Right.
And you need to make sure that you're making this move because this is a huge move. You need to make sure that you're making this move for yourself and not for anyone else. Because if things do go haywire, you need to make sure that you're going to be able to survive.
Yeah.
And so that was the serious conversation that I had with myself.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did because the relationship did not continue or did not survive, yet here I am still, you know.
I had to have that. Yeah, I had to have that
and
conversation
married
though, with myself because I could find myself even like in the move as we would talk, and I would sometimes just get upset about things because I had this whole thing of I'm giving up everything for you. And at one point, he was like, then don't come. Like, he actually said that. He was like, then don't come. Because I kept throwing that kind of in his face. And I realized I had to check myself. And I had to say, okay, this is not for him. This is for you to see what's going to happen in your life if you make this big decision. But you can't put all of that pressure on him because he'll never be able to live up to that.
Right. And it's unfair.
Exactly.
It's unfair to put that kind of pressure on someone.
Well, and here's what I realized. So this was interesting. We had been talking, and I'm telling him, I'm having conversations as I'm sitting there with friends over at the house. We're packing up my house, trying to move, you know. And he never could give me the comfort that I needed to feel. Like I don't really know, but I wanted him to be like, wow, look at what she's doing for me.
Yeah.
And he could never understand that
right.
to say it. Like, I don't even think he could
and I
conceive in his mind all the stuff that I had to do to get ready to make this transition.
They don't. They don't get
right.
it.
And that's a cultural thing. I don't think it's like not being sympathetic or no empathy toward everything that you do. I think it's really a cultural thing because we could, I went out of my way and did something for a Dominican lady from the church, and it was like, sometimes I felt like they expect, they have an expectation.
Or take it for granted.
And that's, and I don't look at it now, like, I don't take it personal. That's what it is. Because they don't express themselves the same way that we do or we want them to. And I've learned that a lot of Dominican men aren't lovey-dovey in that way.
Really?
Mine is.
Talking about touchy and feeling. Oh my God.
I'm saying express themselves like you're saying. Like, to say, wow, you doing all this for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I just couldn't hear.
Yeah. You know what? I think that comes from, cultural, yes. And then, and they're men. That's another thing. But we love you. But I think that for the people here, because their experiences are so different from ours. They don't have the experience of selling your 4-bedroom house.
Right.
They don't have the experience of selling your 3-story home with a pool, your motorcycles. So they don't have all of those things that they're giving up. Right. So they don't have that perspective. They don't have that perception.
They're not as attached to materials as
even if
you don't have it.
Even aside from the attachment, because they don't have it, they can't conceive of me getting rid and me or losing all of this stuff, getting rid of all of stuff because I'm coming to be with you.
And starting over.
And that's just, and it's no offense to them because, we're coming from different places. Well, it's not just, like I said, it's cultural and it's not cultural because it's where we live. So, that our different, financial statuses and stuff. And I don't have to be the one that, I'm not the kind of woman that you date that thinks that you always have to pay,
Right.
but I'm not going to always have to pay. Because
No.
because in the States, I've done
No,
things.
we
I've
do.
bought tickets to concerts. I've gotten hotel rooms. We went and stayed at the waterfront in Baltimore, and we went to see
Yes,
New
sir.
Edition, If It Is in Love. But anyway, we did all this. So I don't have a problem. Huh? What's that?
That's a not bust a move.
Going out there.
No, I'm not
You
going
the
out
one
there.
too.
But I'm not that. So it's not for me. It's not as far as dating here. It's not financial, but I'm not going to be the one that's always picking up the tab.
Right.
Got it.
That's not going to happen.
I got a question for
Yes,
Bridget.
that's-
So Bridget, you came with your husband.
Yes.
So I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Okay.
I really think
Okay.
that that's so cool. What would you say though? How has it been transitioning as a couple within
Yeah.
this pool of Dominican beauty, like
Yeah, the
Right.
beautiful
and the
men
women.
and beautiful women?
Yes.
How has that been for you and Dabbling,
And
your
I
husband?
mean, and I'm really going to share this because before we got ready to move, you know, he has a lot of, not a lot, but he's got some single friends. And, you know, and I would hear the talk. They would say, man, you're moving down there with all those beautiful Dominican women. And I never felt intimidated or anything because I know how much he loves me.
Yeah.
But it did put me on my game to get back to stay in shape, you know, to look good. I was like,
Yeah.
all these women are going to be around and
Yeah.
my fine American husband. You know, and everybody want American man. I was
Everybody
like, I
want
wanted that
American
right.
man.
So I was like,
Except for
I
me.
got to make sure to take care of myself. You know, and then vice versa, because here, Dabbling will be behind me, you know, like on the bike or whatever, and the Dominican men that see me all the time, they're like waving and hola chica, you know, and they're like saying things and, you know, just real flirty.
Yeah.
But it was, you know, it was something, but it makes, I think both of us feel really good that people gravitate to us, you know what I mean? Just because, like I said before, our energy, we speak to everybody
Yeah.
without, you know, and we're flirty without being disrespectful, you know, and people always talk. So it was like a really good and easy transition as a couple,
Right.
you know, but we love it because I'll lay on the beach and I'll be like, oh my gosh, she is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I'll see a man, I'll be like, look at him.
He-
Ooh, and I like a tall man. My husband's 6'1". So, you know, it's the majority of men that work on the beach are shorter. But I always want to add a couple of inches to him. Be like, oh my God, he was gorgeous. Just need a 6'2". I was like, ooh, if he was 6'2", you better watch it. You know, and I would just tease him. You know what I mean? Because it is so many good-looking people. But as a couple, it doesn't bother me if he says she's really pretty. Because I'll be like, she is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, the Dominican people are really good-looking people.
They
You
are.
know, and they're kind and they're nice. So I mean, just from this episode, the take is dating is the same all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
People have their expectations. People have, it's up to the individual to know what
That's
you want
right.
and what you need and what you're willing to accept from
Yeah.
anybody. So
Yep.
when we had the topic, you know, dating in the DR, it was just kind of to have some fun, to pick your brain. You know,
we could
and
talk
just
on
to
this for,
find
I
it
could
out.
talk on this for
Forever.
hours. Yeah.
But it all still comes down to, you know, who you are as an individual, what type of person you want. And then if you do get here and fall in love, you got to get adjusted to a whole different lifestyle or culture
different
shock,
frame of mind.
A different frame of mind.
Yeah.
But it's
But good.
still a
Good
beautiful
stuff.
thing, you know?
Yeah.
But,
Love
you
is
know,
love, right?
Love is love.
Love is love.
Love is love.
That's
what
universal.
I say.
Amor.
And then
Amor.
it rolls on, definitely.
Yes.
But guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Ebony Ladies in the DR. You can find us here every Tuesday and Thursday right here on YouTube, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, take care, love yourself, and give 3 people kisses today. I say, spread it.
Pass
Spread
them
the
out.
love.
Adios.
Adios, amigos.
Besos.